Welcome back to another CG Sit Down. We're here with the Robotics squad. We're going to have a good talk today, hang out, talk about our road to Denver, and see what everybody's up to around here. What are you laughing at?
This guy's yelling up a storm alert.
We ain't even started.
Garrett thought the intro would be the best time to slap about 4 or 5 M&Ms.
All right. So we'll start off with this beauty of a robot. All right. So we're gonna go around and tell everybody say what your part was in building this unit. Jory, why don't you start us off?
I programmed it.
Programming guy, Kason.
Yeah. I helped make the chassis.
Arm. I made the claw.
Nice. Gary.
I was part of the arm group team.
Nice.
Teacher/coach.
Nice. Danny.
I helped make the squeaky arm.
Nice.
I don't care about the beautification.
Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah,
Danny made our beautiful one.
She made the beautiful
Got your
fox.
sign over here. Danny did that, and the signs on the side,
And the hopper.
and the hopper. Back. TJ.
I made the claw.
All right, and I was part of the chassis. So let's talk a little bit about the Kansas Best competition. So let's talk about how it went and what it is.
Absolutely wiped the floor with those guys.
Absolutely,
Just
gave it
cleaned
to 'em.
house right there.
We cleaned house but 3 teams. And you know what? That made us.
And those 3 teams were quite a ways ahead.
After the first round of the finals, we were above homeschool. So.
We were indeed.
And they ended up winning it, so let's put that out there.
We'll just set
I
that
think we
up.
have picture evidence, but I'll give a little bit of a more formal introduction to what
Why don't you?
Kansas Best is.
Yeah, why don't you?
So, it's actually Best Robotics. It's a national competition. Multiple states participate in it. Our central hub that we compete in is the Kansas Best Robotics, which is out of Wichita State. So they kind of supply us with all of our materials that we need for the year, and they give us our competition topic that we're going to have to create a robot for. So we get about 6 to 8 weeks, I think, is what we worked on for the original competition. And then we take the robot down to Wichita State and Coke Arena, and we compete against the other schools. So this year, I think 28-ish started.
Yep.
I think just over 20 showed up, and then just around that same mark actually competed with a robot. So it was a good year, tough year.
How many teams or how many years have you taken a team to this competition?
I think this was the 6th.
6th, and this
My math.
6 was the one to do it. Six was the,
Six went to Denver.
We got close back in 2018.
but you didn't make it, did you?
Didn't quite make
Guess
it.
what this year did? We made it.
We
All right.
made it.
This is the squad right here. So the top.
Talking about no zombies in our.
So the top 4 teams in the competition get to go to Denver, and the squad that you're looking at right now is the first to ever do it for the school history. So pretty excited to take you to that national competition. How many other states are going to be there? 8.
I think there's 6 to 8. I can't remember exactly which number it was that they stated, but I think there's been 3 or 4 regional hubs that have concluded. So they've sent teams on to the regional championships, which we'll be going to in Denver.
Yeah, we
and
will.
I think about the other half still have to finish up. So
Nice.
we should have a leg up on some of those guys because we finished ours first. So we knew we were going to go on. We're one of the first teams to know that we were going on. So
Is there any chance we can get some scout film on that?
yeah.
Get some
I
intel.
doubt it.
We're sending Danny to scout him.
Danny, you're going. You got to go to Ohio.
Ohio.
So let's kind of talk about. Everybody's probably heard it. Where did Road to Denver come from?
Well, it started off as a joke last year because we figured out that if you win or go top 4 at the Wichita hub, that you'll go to Denver. So started off as a joke, Road to Denver, by Ethan Alkire and Tyson Struber, I think were the ones to say it. And then we said it all last year, and then we carried it on for the Fox Den Legacy this year. And you know what? Made it to Denver.
We're going to Denver.
That road. We paved the road.
I had a question, but I completely lost it. That was hilarious. That's Preston.
No, anybody from
If it's
Wichita?
you better go just in case it's Coach Joe.
Open her up.
Money for this, or we're
Oh yeah, I do have money.
Huge thanks goes to Kyle O'Connor for donating 500 big ones for our trip to Denver. Also, huge thanks to Larry O for organizing a fundraiser, our 50-50 raffle. And thank you to everyone who bought tickets for that. And now I'm not sure who else, so Nick's gonna go. I think he said something about somebody.
And
so.
thanks to Pizza Hut for organizing a sponsored night that will raise funds for this too.
What night is that? Do we know? Do we have a date?
Don't have a date yet.
Okay.
Well, then also the Canton-Galva Booster Club was able to provide us with some funds, and I think HCI is also going to be a big supporter. So
That's pretty
big
awesome.
shout out to those guys, and thank you for helping support this group go to Denver.
Yeah, I think the big thing is we want to be able to go have a good time, learn a lot of stuff without, us having to pay too much out of pocket. So that's really appreciated. Let us go do that. Really looking forward to it. We will be making another vlog at Denver. Hopefully it's a little longer. We got a little distracted at the Wichita Hub, got a little excited, so we missed half of it. Almost all of it.
You'll be seeing Strap
First
getting rowdy.
competition and then the last competition.
Yeah, it was first and then us all of a sudden, hey, we're going to Denver.
Second and third, and then it was, we're going to Denver.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll be, just keep your eye out for one of them. We go, we leave December 1st?
Yes.
And then
Thursday, December 1st, come back that following Monday.
What day is that? The last Thursday.
Well, I understand that.
But like what day though?
It's in the 20s.
It's like the 26th, 27th.
Yeah, it's gonna be good. It's gonna be real good.
It's a heck of a deal.
I mean, it's not in December.
Oh, I knew that.
Let's see where we. I don't know where to go.
I got one question that we can talk about and
Yeah.
just kind of test your guys' history on the class a little bit. I'd like to hear the story on how we got our mascot, the fox.
Wow. Now we bring it up.
I know there's some alumni that would be very happy to hear how you guys have gained the knowledge of the Fox Robotics name.
So Fox Robotics came from our boy Timmy Unrein a few years ago. he was sitting in the back of this class one day, I believe, and he started giggling over something, and Coach here had to figure out what he was giggling about, and it ended up being a video of a fox eating a 6-decker sandwich in the what was the place?
Chernobyl.
In Chernobyl. So that ended up being the logo ended up being Fox Robotics. Probably should be.
It's on the outside the door.
Probably should be Eagle Botics, but it's Fox Robotics. And that's we do.
We do have a replica of a fox.
Yeah, and this is that is our official mascot that we had 3D printed. We had some seconds that we were going to kind of incorporate, but unfortunately the 3D printer is
It'll be up. It'll be up in a couple months.
I believe after the competition,
business months.
after the competition, we will be getting that back running. So if you do want anything 3D printed,
Don't come to us.
don't come to us. All right,
Probably break again.
it's just a bad
And
idea.
by after the competition, they mean maybe 3 years from now.
It's gonna take at least 2 to 3 business months to get that
Garrett
back
just
up.
officially contributed more than he has all year.
I made that arm.
Did you want to show him?
Yeah,
Put it-
let's
no,
road
you gotta
to
get-
Denver.
Put it on and give us a hearty road to
Give
Denver.
us a road to Denver.
Give us a good old road to
I'll
Denver.
give you a letter E, but not a road to Denver. That's ain't my style.
That was the face of our team there at the hub. So that was a good look. That was a good look.
Basically, we got 2 catchphrases: "Road to Denver" and "Letter E."
Letter E. You got a letter E.
If you hear one letter E, 4 or 5 more is coming out.
If one starts up, it's just contagious, and
There's 5 more trailing it.
when we hear one, there's a bunch more coming. So look out for that.
Key contributor to our points this year is the Ogie Toe on our little ramp.
Yeah,
Live and die by the 55 is what got us into fourth.
the thing of the competition, we were very consistent, so we were able just to.
Yeah.
Hey, I clutched up.
Hey.
Speaking of Jory, I do have a question for Jory. I'd love to hear some of your complications or some of the problem solving you had to go through programming the robot this year.
Well, I mean, these guys kept switching it up on me is what happened.
We didn't keep switching up. We just kept making it better.
No.
Okay, well, I had a base program that I used from last year, and I was just able to build off of that. So last year it took a lot for me to figure out how to program this thing. It took a good month or so for me to look up all the YouTube videos and whatnot and learn how to get everything functioning in congruency with the control and how everybody wanted it to work or whatnot. But this year, I guess the big thing was just we were doing a whole lot. So I think we had every single one of those ports plugged in. So it was a lot to organize and make sure it just all worked and functioned properly, and the layout of the control was good for us.
I believe anybody that's been in this competition before would agree that this year's competition was by far the most complicated and definitely the hardest competition so far. There's a lot to do. This robot was the most controls we've ever had on a singular robot. Usually it's just your arm and your claw, but we had a lot more.
Half of them, but
Yeah, we ended up only using half. The game plan's changed a little bit, but ended up working extremely well for us. And
Follow-up question is for our very own Garrett Maltby, maybe some of his contributors to it. But this year, another key design was our arm. It has been the first year with this type of design for our arm, and Garrett Maltby was at the forefront of that decision. So I'd love to hear him
At the
talk
forefront.
about
if
this
you would
year's arm.
if you would pay attention here, you would see
Self-leveling.
it levels itself the whole
Leveling.
time. That's a different level.
that's a different breed, right?
And Garrett was doing some geometry and got her figured out.
To go in depth on that, it was my first year. They were like, you and Bryson are doing the arm, and we're both first year guys, so we're kind of like, well, we'll just do whatever we did last year and we'll call that good. And then we came to think about it, and they're like, well, that arm sucks. We need a self-leveling arm. So we Googled it. Parallelogram arm is what it is called. Took a lot of math and engineering to figure out, but
We used some
luckily-
Legos to build some
we
prototypes.
some Legos, Technics or whatever to build a prototype, and then got after this one. Yeah, it's a lot of math, so definitely a lot of math.
Definitely was not a lot.
Definitely just kind of slapped it
Can you
together.
tell us about the fulcrum?
Yeah, can you tell us about the fulcrum and mechanical?
Actually, what
advantage?
happened was we had this top part here, as you can see, it was quite a bit longer. So our fulcrum would be here. This is where it swivels. This was our input force where the string was tied to, but the string broke right now. Practice, not because of a faulty knot or anything. I may or may not have tied, but yeah. And then Jory has the controller in his hand, and the bot is on the table, and he decided it's a good idea to drive the bot off the table. And he cracked our original arm, so now we have less leverage from our fulcrum to input force, but it'll still be alright because our bot is a tank.
It is a tank.
But yeah,
Beautiful.
Pretty much all I know about the arm.
It was a lot. It was a lot of knowledge.
Yeah, a lot of math.
Dig
though.
it. Dig it.
Lost a lot of mechanical advantage there.
Yeah, mechanical advantage.
It's literally the same length.
No.
Nah. You at least took off half an inch, dang it.
I mean, that's a lot.
I believe they were the exact same.
No way.
But another follow-up question, and this one I don't know the answer to entirely because this happened in the pit prior to the competition. But one of the things that when we showed up to the competition, we realized we were at the wrong height with our ramp for the overtime. And so I'd love to hear who came up with the solution to that and what you had to do.
So we saw Wichita Homeschool before the competition was out on the floor, so we said, why not? Let's throw it out there. And thank goodness we did. We got out there, we tried to use it. So the floor robot that we have to assemble has wheel spots that are magnetic, so this just drops the wheel down. Well, the floor robot happened to be about here, so they didn't work. They wouldn't fall on, and we noticed that. So we took it back and we kind of scrapped it together. We found a piece of metal, taped it down.
We got it, to be specific, we used the 66
It was
1T6
piece of this-
And a piece of bike tube.
an inner tube and a zip tie,
And
we threw it
some
under
electrical
there and
tape.
drilled about
And
4 holes in it, and we figured.
And let me
it out.
tell you, it lasted the whole competition. And we also are taking it to Denver, so it's now you can see it's a little
And that-
more
The
official.
bot was positioned a little bit differently though. This was facing that way. It was turned, so this was facing that way. And we had a little back claw on it.
That we never used once in the
So
competition.
obviously
It was
gone.
probably the smartest bit of the whole competition. We won an award for it. We never used it once, and it never moved.
It was beautiful.
What was
to say
cool
the
about
least.
it is it was
You know
it
what's
would
more
flip
beautiful? That Ogie took that carried us to Denver, baby.
Live and die by the 55. Anyways, it folded up, and we were able to.
fit inside the parameters.
So the robot has to fit in a kind of cubed box of 24 inches all the way around.
Oh yeah.
And
I should know that.
Yeah,
I do know
speaking
that.
of the rules guy, I think another thing that'd be useful for this podcast is maybe a little outline of what the competition was this year. And there's no better person to ask than our very own rules expert.
give it to us.
So we're just talking about the objective of the game, pretty much. All right, so picture this. You get hired on, and at a warehouse, and so they need you to drive a robot to get stuff and put it in a box and ship it away. That's pretty much what this game is about.
But you also had to build the other robot.
Yeah. They didn't just give you a free one. You have to build it.
Oh yeah. Yeah, you did.
Yeah, you did.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you did. And what did we do? We did.
We did it.
We did it efficiently.
You know what? We're building another robot, but in Denver this time.
Yep.
So let's let Cason's been a little quiet over there. So
Yeah, why don't you chat us up?
I've heard the phrase "live or die by the 55" a couple times. What does that exactly mean?
It means that. It
Come on.
means that you get points, so many points for doing certain things on one of the rounds. What Charles was really just put some wheels onto the squeaky, and yeah, that's pretty much it.
We got 55 points.
We got 55 points each round for putting
And just
the
hope that
wheels
got us
on.
there.
Well, in the first rounds,
And George
we
kinda choked
Okay,
once.
no, so
Then I clutched up. I clutched up though, man. Listen, okay.
It about cost us.
So actually, in the first rounds, in the seeding rounds, Nick was the first to go, and their robot on the field actually malfunctioned, and that was on us, and it missed us points. So they actually gave us a rerun
At the very end.
So Garrett was our first guy. So we actually didn't get 55 points every round to start off. We slowly got better and better, and then in the semifinals we got Jordan clutched up and got us 55. Everybody got 55, and we were in competition with another team, but we happened to come out on top of that little competition, squeaked us into 4th place. So we made it to the finals, and that was the time that we prospered and did not get 55 every round. But it's okay because we were going to Denver, so it didn't matter. But yeah, that was really, really cool. It was definitely a close competition between us and one other school, but we were consistent enough to make it in. So that was legit, to say the least.
So my next question kind of goes into the class as a whole and the competition that we have. So one of the key components, not only competition, but the class, like I had said, is the technology design process. So I guess this question for the group as a whole, can anyone give me some examples of how we use the technology design process?
I would absolutely love to. I'll hit on the chassis, you hit on the arm.
Gotcha.
So the chassis, we looked at it in the past years, and it was really big. And with just the chassis being big, you can't really put extra stuff on it because, you have no room. So we made lots of prototypes to be able to figure out what the best size was to still be big and have plenty of weight, because obviously if you don't have enough weight in the back, then you're going to tip forward. So we actually shrunk it down, and this actually has 2 floors to it. So on the bottom half is your motors and your caster wheel. That helps it move, of course. And then your second deck has your brain, your arm, your claw. So that gave us so much more room, being able to put the same amount of components at a smaller place, and that really allowed us to go. And this back claw that we made, it was supposed to give us more components too, but it really didn't end up helping. And Garrett's going to give you a little idea of how we really changed. I mean, he's already spoke on it a little bit, but tell us about the process on how we came to the arm.
Yeah, so pretty much, like we said, we drew up the one from last year, realized it wasn't worth the hoot, and so we started looking at pictures on the what do you call that?
Interwebs?
The sheet they gave us, though.
Some of the resources.
Yeah, they provide us
Workflow
with
resources.
workflow. Yeah, that's what I'm looking for. And saw a parallelogram arm at the top of it. Looked at a couple pictures. Kind of what we wanted, kind of not. So we Googled it. We found one that was like, oh, we might be able to do this. So we drew up our prototype, and then we built one out of Legos.
Built a bigger one out of Legos.
Built a bigger one out of Legos. Built this one and realized we need more leverage. So we built another top arm, and then that was pretty much it.
Cleaned her up a little bit, sanded some
Yeah.
sides down.
Mhm.
Well, yeah, because some of the issues we had in the past was, like, of course, when it's not like that, your claw will go up and it's not level, and then we have issues with holding stuff, moving stuff.
Picking up, putting down.
So the best thing that we came down, we talked about all the possible things that we could go to help our issues, and we ended up with a conclusion that this would be the best one, and it really worked out well and what we needed to. And we definitely used the process on the wheels for making that claw too. We wanted the most efficient way to get the wheels onto the floor robot in the fastest way possible. So that's where we came out with the ogre toe, and it really was very, very efficient.
From my understanding, you'll have that on a lot of those bigger jobs.
Then bigger jobs you'll have.
Oh, you will have it. Yeah, no
big job.
I
I don't want to even get started.
mean, you'll have the big jobs.
You will have it.
All right, so let's talk about one thing that we haven't talked about was the CDR meeting.
Ooh.
So before even practice day, you have to take what you have and sit in front of a board of people that are really involved with the competition and kind of explain to them your robot and your kind of thought process behind the whole deal. And we'll just say that the crew that was on that absolutely killed it.
Crushed it.
I mean, it was
Wiped the
very
floor.
solid.
You could say we smoked that.
It was grand slam.
But they don't use that stuff unless you get 5th or 6th in the competition, because
We were the ones laughing.
He started smiling.
That's all true.
so with the robot you do the CDR meeting and you do what's called the notebook. So Jory helped us make a notebook
Slideshow.
Yeah, that they read through in case that's a tiebreaker or whatnot. So he made it over kind of our process, and
Luckily, we didn't have to
TDP.
use it.
Luckily we didn't have to use it.
Yeah, that was our live fox.
That was
That was a fox. If you don't know what the fox says.
Hey, now come here, my boy. Come on.
Hurry up, because we need to wrap this thing up so we can go test drive this new battery mover.
Don't get it.
Get him out of here!
Get
Get out of here! We're in a podcast.
Come on, hey.
Well, that was Preston. We decided if Preston showed up, that's a wrap. So
That's about it. If you didn't know what the fox says, well, you can look it up on YouTube.
Yeah,
That's our national
national anthem.
yeah, the Robotics national anthem is
What does the fox say?
"What Does the Fox Say?" So if you want to know what it says, why don't you go ahead and look up the music video, and
It's got to be the video.
it's got to be the video, and it'll go ahead and show you and tell you what the fox says.
Mm-hmm.
All right, that's pretty much all we got. Kind of gave you a rundown of what's going on. I don't know if this will be out before tomorrow, probably not. But if you,
before we go to Denby.
yeah, it will be. But if you guys want to donate to the team, you can find. Or well, that's what I'm
if it's
saying.
not out.
Well, just give us some
It's
cash.
definitely not going to be out by tomorrow. But yeah, if you guys want to donate to the our road to Denver that we paved, you can find any one of us and let us know, or Coach O. and we'll get to you on that. So that's another episode of the CG Sit Down, and we'll catch you on the next one. Wait.
P.S. One thing I would like to add, if you have an interest in watching the competition on the weekend of December 3rd, there will be live stream links that are provided on all Canton-Galva social media accounts. So
there we go.
That's where you
There you go.
We'll also film an epic video of the entire experience.
I mean, every day, not just the competition. It's gonna be the whole thing. All right. Well,
We got one more thing.
One more thing.
we got another thing.
We got one more thing.
All right.
Where's the
I think we can make